Good morning everyone. I said good morning, huh? I thought you're not in talking terms with me. When we say growth, growth is not an individual aspiration. It's intrinsic to humanity that we want to grow. When we say grow, how much growth will settle us if you look at it? When we are here, we want to be here. When we are there, we want to be there. When we are there, we want to be there. If you really look at it, we want to grow limitlessly. At every point in our lives, people may think that if I get to this place, this is it. But if you get there quickly, then you know that's not it. Only if you get there at the end of your life, that's it. Otherwise, that's not it. So, growth is intrinsic to human nature, that we want to expand in a limitless way. When limitlessness is the orientation of our growth, trying to grow in the limited space of physical existence is a foolish thing to do. This is what we are seeing. After a century or maybe 150 years of science and technology, we did all kinds of things. Now we realize we are running out of stuff and we need to do it in a sustainable way. I'm saying, even a century ago, we had enough brains to look through this, isn't it? Hello? You think it evolved in the last 100 years, your brains? I'm asking you. We had the same brains, isn't it, 100 years ago? But we did not see it. Maybe a few people saw it, but the rest went on. Now everybody is talking about sustainability and this and that. So this is a knee-jerk way of growing. And right now, our understanding of growth is like this. Our understanding of growth is by accumulation. Somebody accumulates a lot of muscle and he feels like a big man. But this bigness is only when everybody else is smaller than him. Suddenly, another man comes who is bigger than him, suddenly he will feel very small. Someone accumulates so much of money and he feels like a big man. Once again, this bigness is only because there are a whole lot of poor people who have nothing. Somebody accumulates a lot of knowledge and they feel like big only because there are so many uneducated and illiterate people. So whatever bigness you achieve, whatever growth you achieve by accumulation is only contextual, is only making sense because somebody else is not doing well. Or in other words, you're taking pleasure in somebody else's failure. I don't think this is growth, I think it's sickness. If I enjoy somebody else's not doing well, would you call it sickness or growth? I enjoy that I've eaten well and you have no food to eat, I enjoy this. This is sickness or growth, I'm asking. So if we go for growth only by accumulation, inevitably this is the way we will go. So time has come, if we really want to be sustainable, if we have the guts and the gumption, that we have to look at growth in a multi-directional way. Right now, unfortunately, the whole world is wrapped up. Growth means economic growth and nothing else but that. This has to change because we'll regret. Earlier, it took 100 years for us to regret because that was the speed at which we are going. Now at the speed at which we are going, every 15 years we will regret seriously if we're taking the wrong direction because we are going at a certain pace with everything. Well, we want to go to Mars. Good idea. But what will we do there? There also we will go and fight. There also we will go and destroy. Maybe we'll take another 5 centuries to destroy that. But is it not important that we grow in such a way that our growth is not always at the cost of something else? Is it not important to do that now? Isn't this the time to address this issue, that our growth is not essentially always at the cost of something else? Or always about somebody else has not grown as much as I have, that's why I enjoy my growth. If growth is by accumulation, this is the only way humanity will be. One significant thing that we need to change in this world is everybody is trying to up their activity, enhance their activity. If you enhance your activity without enhancing the fundamental life that I am, all that will happen is, right now all the successful people are the most stressed out people on the planet. See, in every way, success is the sweetest thing in human life. Hello? You agree or disagree? You tell me, I'm going to bless you. Success is the sweetest thing in your life or no? Success does not mean just success in profession or business or something. Even if you hit a ball, you want to hit it straight, isn't it so? Small thing or big thing, the purpose of action is success. Nobody performs any action thinking it should not succeed. Small things or big things, when we do something, we want it to succeed. Every step that we take, we want it to be a success. But now, successful people are sending out a message to the world, success is suffering. It's a very wrong message to the youth. The next generation, if they look at your face, all successful people walking like they just walked out of a grave. Yes, they're looking so grave. Now, if the next generation chooses not to go for success, there are already examples, there are already situations like this which happened. In the 60s, in United States, the successful people became so straight-jacketed. Post-World War II, they called themselves baby boomers anyway. They became so straight-jacketed, the youth looked at them and said, we don't want to be like this. They said, it feels better to be on the street corner and smoke pot, at least we're happy. That was the whole philosophy. The whole hippie movement is just in reaction to successful people carrying extra long faces and walking around all over the world. They said, we don't want to be like this, at least we want to laugh, we want to love, we want to be with each other. We don't want to walk around like this, like walking dead. So it's very, very important. Successful people of today have this important responsibility that you send out a message to anybody who looks at you. Success is the sweetest thing, because a society which does not seek success is a down-the-drain society. It's finished. You can as well flush it out. Human beings have to seek success. If they don't seek success in whatever they're doing, what is the purpose of human action? I was just invited to go to the Mastabhishek in the Jain Mastabhishek in Savana-Belugola. So somebody was interviewing me and said, see, Sadhguru, you're talking about all this, about economic well-being and this, see these monks don't want anything, they're just naked and sitting here. I said, you gotten it all wrong. The monk is far more, more ambitious than any CEO on the planet. You may be trying for small real estate, he wants it all. To such an extent, he is willing to walk naked on the street to get what he wants. He's super ambitious. It is just that what he is looking for is not in terms of accumulation, that's all. But if he was not looking for anything, is he doing such severe austerity in his life, I'm asking? He wants something very big, much bigger than what you're looking for. Only thing is, his longing to grow is not by accumulation, because what you gather will not enhance you. It will only deceive other people. It doesn't deceive you, isn't it? So it is like you're driving your Maruti car, you do lot of shopping, it feels like a truck after some time, yes? After a shopping trip, your car feels like a truck, isn't it? So a lot of things, but then you want to go faster than anybody, and you also saw the Buddha track here. Delhi is the only place in India which has a Formula 1 track. and you took it out and you want to go fast also. If you get on the Formula One track with your Maruti, fully loaded with shopping, 4 wheels, five wheels will fly in 5 different directions. Of course, with 1 wheel you are there. So the most important thing if you want to race on the track is to upgrade the machine, isn't it? Even if you're a great driver, you're driving a machine which is not suited for that kind of activity, you're bound to fall apart. So whether it's business, spiritual process or whatever else we are doing, political activity, whatever, the most important thing is the growth of this piece of life. This piece of life needs to enhance itself. Even if you're not so good driver, even if you're a lousy driver, you have a Ferrari, you look like a great driver, don't you? Hello? You may not be a good driver, but just because you have a great machine, you look like a great driver. So this is important, that this machine is upgraded. There is a whole science and technology to do this. If you do this, one thing that will happen to you is your growth will not be linked to accumulation. This is sustainable growth, for sure. Once our growth is not linked to what we accumulate is only what we can use and nothing more and nothing less, then the world is a fantastic place. Without producing great human beings, we are not going to make a great nation or a great world. We are busy building great machines, great buildings, great roads, great bridges, all this needed, I'm not against that. But is it not most important that we produce great human beings? Hello? Isn't it the most fundamental work? Unfortunately, as a generation of people or in the last few generations, we've completely ignored this. Great human beings have happened out of their own accord or some situations have shaped them. But very few individuals working in a scientific manner to produce a significant human being. This needs to happen because this is the USP of this nation. Our entire focus has always been upon enhancing the human being. It is not about enhancing everything else except the human being. Enhancing the human being makes this human being's life fantastic, and when this human being is feeling fantastic, naturally he will do wonderful things. Have you noticed about yourself, one day you're feeling really wonderful, that day how nice and sweet and wonderful you are to everybody and everything around you? Is that so? See, if you're trying to prove you're the yogi here, see, I have practiced for a long time to simply sit like this without moving my eyeballs for hours on end. Don't try that with me, huh? I've put in a lot of practice. We're talking, right? Is it true that… I've not asked the question yet. Is it true that you are a piece of life fundamentally? And is it true that you have a limited amount of time and energy that you call as life? Huh? Right now, since you came and sat here, you're 30 minutes closer to your grave. That's a reality. Yes or no? Hello? So time is always running out like this. So the only thing you can manage to enhance this life is, because time, whether you are active or lazy, sleeping or awake, do whatever, this or that, time is rolling for all of us at the same pace. There's no such thing as time management. People are trying to manage time. What will you do? You'll hold the clock, is it? You cannot do time management. You can enhance your energies in such a way, what somebody does in 10 years, you do it in 1 year. That's all you can do. You can only… Maruti car does 100 kilometers in this much time, means you get a Ferrari so that you do it in half the time, isn't it so? That's all you can do with this. You cannot manage time. So if you're really looking for growth, this must be a hugely enhanced machine and on high octane. What goes in, what goes out, everything you're looking at it carefully. Now it is calibrated to function at a certain level. This is something that must happen to businesses and business leaders. This is not just for yogis, this is for business leaders, because the well-being of a nation does not depend on its military successes or political circus that goes on. It is the success of the businesses which determines the success of the nation. We have always understood this for centuries. This is why we were… just 200, 300 years ago, we were the most commercially active nation on the planet. Others thought by wielding swords they will be dominant, but we just did business for centuries. But after all this exploitation and occupation, we just somehow lost it. When we got our independence, we got excited about independence, we forgot about business in many ways. In the making of a nation, I'm saying this because this is also true for a business. In the making of a business also, the same thing is true as it is true for a making of a nation. In the making of a nation, there are three fundamental aspects. One is territory. What is the area of your operation? Next is the systems which will manage this nation. And third is the people, which is the most important one. I'll not go into the detail, but just to make you understand where we did not get a few things right. When we got independence, first thing we did not understand what is territory. We were just too happy, somebody is going away. We were just waiting with our drums and crackers ready to dance on the street. We did not understand territory matters when you make a nation. So we broke the nation into three pieces. Now, even if you had to break it for some political reason, which I don't want to debate now, it's long time ago, the important thing is, for thousands of years we had done business with the rest of the world with these two pieces of lands that we gave away. At least we should have kept a corridor open, isn't it? By now you would have highways and railways running into every European and Arab capital and also Southeast Asian countries. Would it have made a big difference for you business people, I'm asking you? In 25 years, we would have been a developed nation if we had transportation going into Central Asia, Europe, Arabia, everything. And this we always had. It's not that we need some stroke of genius to understand this. For 10,000 years we've done business, but we broke that because we did not understand that it's the success of the businesses which makes the nation. We thought a political success is everything. So, things happen and systems, even today we are still keeping the same systems that the occupying forces kept. Just to give you some examples, I don't know, in North it might have changed, in South India, even today the district administrator is called a collector. He is there just to collect tax. This is the British idea. All they did was collect tax, they did not administer anything. So even today he is a collector. Even today, if you are a landowner, you own only first 3 feet of your land. Do you know this? Hello? You don't know this? Oh, you must know this. Even if you strike water, it doesn't actually belong to you. They're not messing with you right now about water, but if you strike gold or oil, they'll come and definitely mess with you because it doesn't belong to you. These are all rules of occupation to control. But even today we're continuing the same systems because it was easy to just take it on and do it, otherwise we had to do a whole lot of work. And about the people, in terms of nourishment, education, and above all, the inner enhancement of the human being, because this is the only culture, when you talk about history, you talk about sages and saints. We talked about sages and saints not because we are a bunch of religious nuts. We talked about super-enhanced human beings who are the source of mathematics, music, spiritual advice, everything. But we forgot that our fundamental thing is we have tools for transformation, and we forgot that we have to bring in systems for a free India, and we forgot that territory matters because nation means territory in a fundamental way. We are like, you're very serious, huh? Can I tell you a joke? Hello? No, I'm asking you because, I was speaking at the Princeton University and over 400 people in the hall, and except for a few young faces which were bright, rest were all carrying extra long faces. I just looked at them and thought, university, maybe it's the weight of knowledge which is pulling them down like this. Then if I tell them a joke, they agree with me. Then I said, what's happened to all these people over 30 years of age? Why are they carrying such long faces? One lady stood up and said, they're all married. I thought people are getting married to multiply their joy. If they're getting married to multiply their misery, we need to have a new law about this. So this happened. One day, a pirate walked into an Irish pub. And his left leg was gone, he had a wooden stump. His right hand was gone, he had a hook. And of course, he had an eye patch, classic pirate. He walked in and ordered a drink. The bartender looked at him and said, hey, isn't that you, Jack? Said, yeah, but what happened to your leg? That bloody Her Majesty's cannons, they just blew my leg away, but no problem, our ship's carpenter fixed me up quite good, I can even dance. Then he served one drink and then, but what happened to your hand? We were just having a fight, some fools don't know a sword should hit the sword, he hit my hand and… but no problem, our blacksmith fixed me up quite good, this hook actually works better than the hand. Then he served one more drink and asked him, but what about your eye? He said, in the night I was just looking at the stars to guide the ship and the bird poo hit me. But come on, bird poo won't take away your eyeball. He said, no, I was just new to the hook, We were new to freedom and we cut ourselves up into pieces, we did all kinds of things. So first 50 years went into survival mode, doing all kinds of desperate things to survive. Last 25 years we have been into developmental mode, now we are looking at a sustainable mode of growth. In this, the most significant role is not for the politics, but it's for the business, that this becomes a sustainable growth. And above all, once you're in a position where your activity influences or impacts millions of people one way or the other, it's important that you enhance yourself. Enhancement means not just becoming financially enhanced or in terms of wealth or education, but as a life you must be enhanced. What does that mean? How do I enhance my life? See, essentially it's just this. You can believe so many things, but you are just a certain combination of time and energy, aren't you? How well you harness these two things is the consequence of your life. In Tamil language, it's very beautifully said. I don't know how you say it in Hindi. When somebody dies, they say, "Kalamaitan." This means his time got over. The most appropriate description. Time got over, that's all that happened. Yes, time is getting over. Even for me, it's only 16 minutes. Time is getting over, isn't it? So the only thing you can enhance is your energy. In how many ways can your energies function? In how many wonderful ways can it function? In how many limited ways can it function? Can this grow? This is the question. If this one thing grows, activity becomes a play. Without enhancing yourself, if you enhance your activity, it will be a daily struggle. This is why successful people are looking very stressed, because they've enhanced their activity beyond their capability. Now this is suffering, Maruti car on the F1 track, suffering. It can only suffer, isn't it? It cannot do any other way. It's very important. if this is enhanced in such a way that whatever comes in our life is like a play, this needs to happen. And if people do not invest in this, we will inevitably do things which are not sustainable. Sustainability is not only with environment, sustainability is also with human beings, isn't it? Our children are killing themselves. Can you beat it? Huh? Thousands of children. In the year 2015, over 18,000 children killed themselves who are below 15 years of age. And over 7,000 of them were below 12 years of age. Can you imagine? A 12-year-old or 10-year-old wanting to take his own life, he must be bursting with life. But he wants to take his own life, obviously we are doing something fundamentally wrong. Is there any more question whether we're doing the wrong things or not? When our children want to commit suicide, this means we've gone totally wrong, isn't it so? This is happening because we are enhancing activity without enhancing the human being. This human machine, this human mechanism, this is the most sophisticated machine on the planet. Do you agree with me? I'm asking you, have you read the user's manual at least? Hello? No, somehow? If you do somehow, it will work accidentally. When you make things accidentally happen, anxiety is natural. How can you avoid it? When life is accidental, anxiety is natural. You cannot cure it. This happened to me the first time when I went to United States many years ago. Wherever I went, everybody was talking about stress management. I could not understand why would anybody want to manage stress? Because in my understanding, we manage our family, our wealth, our business, our money, things which are precious to us. Why would you want to manage stress? It took me a little while to understand that people have concluded that stress is a part of their life. Stress is not a part of your life. Maruti car will feel stressed if you push it to 100 kilometers. A Ferrari won't feel stressed, isn't it? Hello? Lack of enhancement, which is causing stress. You do not know how to handle your body, mind, emotion, energy. Everything feels stressful. Tell me one thing that human beings are not suffering. If they are poor, they suffer their poverty. You make them rich, they suffer the taxes. If they're not educated, they suffer that. Put them to school, daily suffering. They're not married, they suffer that. Get them married. I did not say anything. No children, they suffer that. Give them children, pain in the neck. Tell me one thing that human beings are not suffering. Of course, people are coming up and saying, life is suffering. Life is neither suffering nor joy. You can make it what you want. If your body, your mind, your energies, your emotions take instructions from you, you would keep this in the best possible way. If your mind took instructions from you, would you choose to be blissful or miserable? This is a question I'm asking you. Whatever you say, I'm going to bless you with that. If your mind took instructions from you, misery or joy? For yourself, definitely it's the highest level of pleasantness for yourself. What you want for your neighbor may be debatable, but what you want to yourself is 100% clear, isn't it? So what does this mean? This means your own mind is not taking instructions from you. If your mind doesn't take instructions from you, how do you expect 1,000 people who work with you will take instructions from you? Essentially, your business means you are in some way managing either 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 minds, isn't it? When you can't manage this, how will you manage these? Is it not important that we invest certain amount of time, energy and resource to learn what is the nature of this human mechanism? Because if you do not know the full depth and dimension of what this is, you will use it in a miserable way and go away, because time is running away for all of us. Are you able to hold it, I'm asking? See, I became like this. I just think I was born day before yesterday, but see, I've become like this. You also, it's going. Already it's 1 hour. It's 45 minutes closer to the grave since we sat here. Now when we say growth, we want to take a longer stride than what others are taking. When you take a longer stride, somebody will say this is risk. When everybody is beginning to take longer stride, you want to jump a bit. When you jump, they say this is weird. When everybody starts getting weird, you want to jump over an unknown terrain. Then they say, this is a crazy leap. And of course, there is a fatal leap also, we will come to that later. But essentially, you want to take a stride larger than what everybody else is taking. In a way, growth means you're largely on one foot. One foot is on the ground, one foot is looking for terrain. You may have to create the terrain sometimes. Not always there is a piece of land to put your foot on, you have to create a terrain. So if these things have to happen, and you should not break up. See, when you have taken your foot out and there is no terrain there, it can cause enormous anxiety and fear. Only if you have settled this one thing within you, that what happens within you is determined by you. What happens around you is determined by many forces, we are trying to play a game. But what happens within you must happen your way, isn't it? If what happened within you happens your way, you would be in the best state. There is substantial scientific and medical evidence to show you that only when you're in a pleasant state of experience does your body and your brain function at its best. Essentially, your success in the world means how well you harnessed your physical body and your brains. Yes or no? Which gave you access to situations, of course, but essentially what you have, how well you harnessed it. You may have a lot of intelligence, but if you don't harness it in the right direction, it will not produce results. There are a whole lot of very highly intellectual people who are good for nothing in the world. They only cause problems to themselves and to everybody, unfortunately. Yes? This is because it's not harnessed. And there is substantial scientific and medical evidence to show you that only when you're in a pleasant state of experience, your ability to use your body and your brain is greatly enhanced. And there is substantial evidence today in the universities of the West, unfortunately not so much in India, we have always known this, but it has to come from the lab to be true. If it comes from me, it's not true. They will take 100 years to get to it, but we have to wait. Today, there are studies, people have done studies on Isha Yoga in University of California. They're saying in 3 months of practice, the neuronal regeneration in your brain is going up by 241% in 3 months of practice. I think all of us can do with a little extra brain, can't we? Hello? You think you reached the peak or this room? Hello? We could do with more, isn't it so? And it can be done. It is just that as we're investing in the outer world for dividend, in the inner world, if you want some dividend, you need to make some investment, otherwise it will not come. Essentially what this means is, the entire movement, what I'm heading right now, is towards moving the humanity from religion to responsibility. If something is going right, it's me. Something going wrong, we've lived like this for too long, it's time to change this. We need to understand the source of all our problems are within us, and if we want solutions, they are within us, nowhere else. So moving the world from religion to responsibility, only then human potential will be fully explored. Otherwise, everybody has an excuse for all the rubbish they do, and usually they have divine sanction for every stupid thing that they do. See, this is the nature of human intelligence. If you do something stupid today, tonight your intelligence will bother you, why did I do this? But if it is God endorsed or scripture endorsed, You can do idiotic things with great confidence. You don't have to turn back and look. Otherwise, it's intrinsic to a human being. If you do something silly today, it will bother you, your own intelligence. But you can very easily cross this simply by getting endorsement from a scripture or from heaven. This needs to go. We need to move humanity into a more responsible function. If this doesn't happen, we keep looking up and doing all kinds of terrible things to each other and to ourselves. This is happening all the time. A time has come where human intellect is firing like never before. More human beings on the planet can think for themselves than ever before in the history of humanity. This is the time when heavens are crumbling in people's minds. How many of you think you will go to heaven? After your time is done, of course. You will go to heaven? Okay, all those who made a hell out of themselves want to go to heaven. This happened. This happened in Alabama. A Sunday school teacher was going on full fire, but unfortunately the audience were not like you. They were tiny tots, catch them young policy. Full fire he was going on in his rhetoric, and he stopped and asked, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" So little Mary stood up and said, "If I scrub this church floor every Sunday morning, I will go to heaven, absolutely." Another little girl stood up and said, "If I share 50% of my pocket money to my less privileged friend, I will go to heaven, correct?" Another little boy stood up and said, "If I help people who are in need, I will go to heaven, correct?" Little Tommy in the back bench stood up and said, "You gotta die first." You got to die first, that's a qualification. And when you die, if you've not done anything eco-friendly, one good thing you will do, we will either bury your body or burn your body or cut it and put it to the birds, depending on what culture you come from. Something we will do, one thing is we'll put the earth back to earth. It's a good thing that everybody will do at the end. Nobody goes with their body. So you left your body here and went to heaven. What is in heaven, you must know. You know what's in heaven? Oh, you must know, you're going. Let me tell you what's in… No, I will tell you what is there in heaven. In Hindu heaven, food is good. If you are a foodie, that's where you go. In another place, there are white-gowned ladies floating around in the clouds. If you like that kind of ambience, you go there. In another place, you'll encounter virgin problems. If that's what you're looking for, that's where you go. But one thing is, you left your body here and went to heaven. You don't have a body. What do you do with good food and virgins? It is time we move this humanity from religion to responsibility. I want all of you with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sadhguru. I don't think any of us could have asked for better Saturday motivation. Thank you so much. Ladies and gents, I request you to please take your seats as we prepare for our next speaker. I request everyone to please take their seats. It's time to turn to our next speaker then. If you thought that you had escaped the recent chop and churn of the stock markets, well, you better brace yourselves because our next speaker believes that the market wobbles in 2018 are just tremors. The big one will be in 2019. Please put your hands together and welcome Andy Shea. He's a leading independent Chinese economist. And Andy's going to talk to us today about whether or not there's froth in the economy. So much. Let me give you okay, go.
Hello. Thank you very much. Now we talk about something very boring, economic growth and financial markets. Now, on growth, we have good news. The global economy has a lot of momentum. Last year, all the major economies registered very good